Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Den Transmissions. Missed you guys last week. We didn't do one Den Transmissions last week just because, I don't know, I didn't feel like there was enough in episode 6 to really talk about. I decided to clump episode 6 and 7 together. We had to do that the week before with episode 4 and 5. It happens, especially with these shows. Some episodes are more transitional episodes, or there's not as much going on with it. Yeah, it's good to be back. It's good. I like doing these weekly, so it's always a bummer when I have to like skip a week and stuff like that. Maybe we'll do. I want to do a lot more gaming streams and stuff like that, live gaming streams. So we'll get back on that. I know Hunters comes out. I believe it's the 27th. I know it's like the end of the month. I just don't know what day on the end of the month that it pops up. But yeah, we got exciting news to talk about with Skeleton Crew. So we're gonna go. Let me like move on to the smaller screen and pull up some of these screenshots, and we'll go through them. Not a super long. I think it's not gonna be a super long Den Transmissions today because again, not a crazy lot happened, and a lot of or at least nothing that I'm like interested in talking about. Like super important stuff happening here, but we do have a couple things, so I'm not gonna sell it short. So the first one, we come back on them. Basically, Judd has taken over control. SM-33 has to follow the protocols because he challenges the captain. The kids get tossed out into like basically like the scrap yard or like the scrap pile. And it kind of picks up from there, and we start to see the New Republic come in. And honestly, I kind of like this. Why I took this like kind of dogfight, because I feel like the New Republic in a lot of instances is considered like weak, and like they don't have good strong grounding. So it's kind of cool to see the pirates be like kind of scared almost of the New Republic, even though they might have just as good or even better technology than them. Because I just feel like in these past few, and even in like the Heir to the Empire books that came out in like the 90s, the New Republic was kind of a joke. And in a lot of these like Mandalorian and things like that, I feel like they've just been not taken very seriously because of how much ground I guess they had to cover with like disbanding the Empire. So I don't know. I just thought it was cool that and even the kids don't really realize that they're like the good guys, because Jode it said that they weren't, when they were chasing them. But yeah, so is it gonna let me scroll to the next one? Yeah, dude, these little like creatures down here that are like surrounding Neil. I don't know about you guys, but I got a very Pirates of the Caribbean 3 kind of vibes when you have like when I am blanking on his name. Johnny Depp's character, Jack Sparrow. Oh my goodness. Am I even a Pirates of the Caribbean fan if I can't remember the main guy's name? But no, it reminds me of when he's trapped in Davy Jones' locker, and he like skips that stone and ends up being a crab. Like, I don't know. There's a couple instances in this episode where there's a lot of Pirates of the Caribbean kind of vibes, I feel like, in it. This one is another one where they kind of talk about that lady to the right of Brutus is she like kind of recites the pirates code of like every pirate gets like their 30 seconds to a minute to explain like how they're gonna fix things before they get like booted out of the airlock. And I like that you get like, that's one thing I think that's honestly interesting about this show over a lot of the other shows is we don't know anything about Star Wars pirates. Like, we get a little bit of Hondo in the Clone Wars, but there's not a lot about like smuggling and like pirates and stuff like that, because it's kind of a shady kind of deal. And even though I don't think this show is doing a deep dive into that, because that's not the main focus of the show, I like that we're getting like another aspect. And also, I just like pirates, man. I like the pirate theme. And it's cool because it kind of like that hourglass kind of reminds me of the spotchka, I believe that's in Mando season 2. Like, it's like the blue kind of drink, and I don't know, it was just very, it was like it was cool because it felt old school, like old timey, but it also like it's like liquid that's like neon and glowing and stuff like that. So it added a lot of the Star Wars elements, I feel like, to it. It didn't feel like out of pocket. And then we got, so this episode, I feel like primarily like the focus of it, right, was to take the kids and build upon their friendship and make them understand each other even more. You have uh you have Fern going with Neil, and then you have KB going with uh what is his, it's Wim, right? I believe it's Wim. The curly haired guy. You have them kind of learning about themselves and about, because like KB is like powering down. She doesn't have like her tools that she needs, which also like they had to make this little cylinder that he's like putting in the back of her like central processor. Like, I don't know, maybe that's just inefficiency or not, like because they like left in a hurry. But like I feel like if I needed those replaced like quite frequently, why wouldn't you have like a pouch of like, I don't know, like 10 of them or something like that. I don't know how often she has to replace these or what happens with them, but like to me, if like she says that she has to have them or she'll like complete like factory kind of shutdown, I feel like I'd be carrying those things around all the time, so I didn't have to do essentially what they did here. I get it. Not exciting storytelling. If she's just like, I got one in my pouch, they got to make it suspenseful, and like they have to go scavenge parts for it. And they make like a little mold and stuff. But I do like the dynamic because she doesn't really see them all as friends. And Wim is like, yeah, she's like, well, if like it doesn't work out with you and Fern, like you can just be friends with me and Neil, and she kind of smiles and all that stuff. So I do like that dynamics. And then you have Neil and Fern, where Neil's like, dude, I can't climb as fast as you. I don't have like the legs. And she ends up like tying a rope. Like they end up finding ways to like connect closer as friends, and then they all come together at the end. And I think this is what a lot of the episode is about, at least in the kid portion, is friendship, and then I guess with Jode and the Pirates is that he can kind of talk himself out. He's kind of like a guy, I would say a Han Solo. I hesitated on saying Han Solo, but very Han Solo-esque in that like he always finds like a workaround when he's about to when he's up against a wall, essentially. And I really like that about this episode, even though there wasn't a crazy amount of stuff. There was underlying tones that were really nice with it. And then we got the freaking crab, man. And the cool thing about this crab is they had, I don't know if Phil Tippett specifically worked on this crab itself, but his team, I know, kind of orchestrated the stop motion, because that crab is completely stop motion. I think maybe mixed with a little CGI, but like I would say 90% of it is just them doing the legs. And I have a video pulled up because Disney posted it, I think like yesterday or the day before, which would be cool. It'll be cool to see kind of like how they did it. You'll get a good glimpse. But I like going back to Phil Tippett. Phil Tippett, for those who don't know who he is, he was the one of the stop motion, like the lead stop motion guy for a lot of the OT trilogy. He made like the Tauntaun running and things of that nature. A lot of the creatures and how they moved. He was the one doing a lot of the stop motion animation. I believe he did the AT-ATs, and then he did the AT-STs too in Return of the Jedi. But yeah, let me flip over, and we're gonna watch this because I thought it was pretty interesting that they shared this little glimpse, kind of into the future of how, or not into the future, but into like the episode of how everything goes. So.
The way that we approach the design process on Tetanus, the mama crab, Doug basically said to me like, okay, it's a giant kind of crab monster. It puts
I love that they're
on
using
back
3D
blood.
printing and like
Crab
resin
is
printing stuff
rusty.
to make this crab.
We always thought of this crab as just a big ball of tetanus.
There's a running joke about the puppet's not actively trying to kill you, then we're not making it right. Someone was bound to get tetanus if they weren't paying attention around her.
I really wanted to make sure that when we were putting the junk on it, it wasn't just random stuff. I actually tried to use as many little bits from model kits that were used on the original films. All the
Oh, that's
junk
cool.
on the legs is actually from those molds of original model parts that were used on the Millennium Falcon, TIE Fighter, you name it. That's our little R2-D2. He's in there all rusted up, and we actually even made him so that he's animatable, so you can move him around. So there's a little C-3PO over here. We made him so we could move his little hand.
I am C-3PO.
There's a K2SO. Oh, I think that might be him right here.
Congratulations.
This piece right here is actually one of the walker feet from the scrap walker. I just elongated it and jammed it in there.
Tetanus is about 12 pounds. Definitely the heaviest stop motion puppet we've ever worked on. So heavy, in fact, that we had to build suspenders for it.
All said and told, with the crazy rig that we ended up building to hold her up, there's around 70 plus joints that
Wow.
can be moved. And in all honesty,
That's
most
wild.
of them are moving all the time.
Yeah, I wanted to make Phil proud on this guy, so we used a lot of his tricks. Phil likes the weird. Like, his monsters are like weird. There's a proportion to Phil Tippett's creatures that are undeniably his. It's just you and me, baby.
Nice. Yeah, so I just wanted to share that with you guys because I thought that was cool. That just 3 days ago they posted it, and yeah, the Phil's freaking awesome, man. I saw the chessboard. He did the Psylop kind of chessboard where you see like Han and Chewbacca and C-3PO and Lando all playing throughout the series and stuff like that. And I don't know, it brings this episode together a lot. You know, first seeing it, I was like, oh, cool, you know, a giant crab, like whatever. And then once I kind of realized what they were doing, because they didn't say that it was stop motion, and honestly, it looks great. Like, I couldn't even tell that it was, because you can see a little bit in like the frame rate, I guess, of how it looks a little clunky sometimes with stop motion. There's like a specific way of how the way that you're doing it makes it like that, but it's like an art form within itself. And they nailed it, man. I mean, it seemed very, very fluid in motion going on. Hey, what's going on, man? Appreciate you stopping in and saying hello there. Talking about the this crab and how it was stop motion made by Phil Tippett, or Phil Tippett's team. He wasn't obviously working on it with some of the other guys that we had just got done watching, but it was really cool. I didn't know, because I just kind of skimmed through that video, that they made a lot of, like, they took a lot of the parts that they made the Millennium Falcon with, and they took those molds and like put it on different pieces of the crab. And you see here, like underneath, like all these little like robots and stuff like that. Some of them have like robot like legs or parts on them. They're all like kind of junk crabs, and definitely the coolest part of the episode, in my opinion. I really like the kind of junk island, the scrapyard area with these like beings that were going crazy. They're like pushing the kids forward and stuff like that, which I'm sorry too, like those kids seem pretty athletic for the most part. You could totally like hop over all those crabs and then just like run back. They were like, oh no, like we can't do anything with the crabs. But no, this is really cool, and I love that they're bringing back some of the, I think that's one thing that Skeleton Crew is obviously not a perfect show by like any means, or my favorite show for that matter. But I love that they're bringing some of those OT qualities back, you know, like the stop motion. They're doing a lot more like prosthetics with like the creatures and the sentient beings, like with all the prosthetics, and there's a Quarren coming up here soon that I'm actually talking about in the next episode. And it just, there's so many different creatures and stuff like that they're pulling, and I really appreciate it. What do you say? Can you make a Lego 3D printed revolver for a product? I want to do a Jango Fett cosplay. I actually do have those. So if you go to my shop, you can, which is pmpcreations.shop. I have it linked down below. You guys can get a whole bunch of like inspired Star Wars items, video game, anime stuff. So if you want that, man, just go to the shop. Go to the Galaxy collection, and you should be able to purchase one of those, and I can have it out to you pretty quickly. So, yeah, that's awesome though that you're building a Jango Fett cosplay, man. Are you doing a Lego Jango Fett cosplay, or are you doing just like a standard, like from Attack of the Clones Jango Fett cosplay? And then I don't really have much to say on this. I just thought this was a cool shot. I really love like the dark tones and like the kind of the singular lighting from like the moon or the planet that's coming from. And then you just see like the like trash compactor furnace just like scraping so much stuff. I don't know. I just thought it was a cool shot and a cool scene. Yeah, of course. I appreciate, like I said, I appreciate you popping in and hanging out too, and just chatting with us about Skeleton Crew and all that stuff. But yeah, everything should be linked down below. And I'm pretty sure I also have it like in my, if you go to like my profile, like my YouTube profile and in the links category, my shop should be listed there too. You said you're doing the Lego Star Wars The Complete Saga? That's cool, man. That should be cool. Definitely, I don't know how you would share that with me, but I'd love to see that. That sounds super sick. I want to do eventually, and getting kind of off topic from Skeleton Crew, but I would love to do like the original like Boba Fett and Jango Fett helmet. The one that was like when you attach it, it had like the jetpack that was also attached. I probably won't do the jetpack also attached just because of like neck problems, but I would love to make a sculpt a helmet. It was like just like a Lego, like a Boba Fett or Jango Fett helmet. That seems pretty cool. But that's awesome, man. I feel like there's not enough Lego cosplays out there. Like we don't have enough, or if they are, they're like really like big and blocky. Which there's nothing wrong with that too. Those are also super sick. But it would be cool to see like a, I don't even know, maybe like a cosplay that was either made out of Legos or like had like Lego inspired parts where they like looked like they were Lego. They're not technically Lego, but they looked like they were. I think that'd be kind of cool. But yeah, if I can contribute to the cosplay, man, I'm more than happy to help. All right, so I think that might be it. Yeah. So that's it for episode 7. Like I said, not a really crazy lot happened in that episode. I do like, I do wish we got more pirates and more pirate-esque themes in this show. I feel like we're kind of dancing around that, and I'll go into that a little like in a couple slides later down the road. We'll talk about it a little bit more, but I don't know, man. I feel like for a show based on pirates, like it's more centered around the kids, which makes sense. Like they're the stars of the show, but I want a little bit more pirate-esque. But I don't want to get too far ahead of myself with talking about that. But yeah, like look at this freaking sculpt, man. Like the prosthetics, he's got like chopped off like tentacles, and he's got like diamonds on him or like bracelets on it. Like the practicality that they're doing in this show is freaking awesome. You said you're 10 years old, so you don't know where to start. Well, I would say try to find, maybe look into 3D. I mean, again, it is tough when you're a younger individual, but you could totally look for 3D printed parts, or if you can save up for a 3D printer, you can try to 3D print the parts yourself. There are some obstacles to go around, but I would say really start by like seeing what other people have done. Maybe YouTube, Lego Star Wars cosplays, or like Lego Star Wars builds. Maybe there's some stuff out there. But yeah, really, I would say do your research. That's what it comes down to, is do your research. Maybe if you, I don't know if you have Instagram, because like I said, I know you're a little bit younger, but do some research of some cosplayers on Instagram. Reach out. Most of the time, they should be pretty chill. If you're like, hey, I'm young and I want to get into cosplay, you have a really cool cosplay, like could you tell me how some of these parts make it? Maybe that'll work, maybe it won't, but yeah, you got to be careful with some of that stuff. But most people, I would say, are pretty chill and down to earth. So yeah, I would just start there and recommend that. And then, dude, we get the most ruthless scene. They killed my boy, man. They killed my boy, Brutus. And I really like this because I think it shows that, and this will go into like the theory that I have at the end about Jode, is that he's kind of a do whatever it takes to survive type of character. He'll throw you underneath the bus to get ahead, and really to save his own neck. And he says it quite a bit throughout. I think he talks to Wim. I want to say it's like in the third episode or something like that. It says that you got to watch out for yourself. Attachments aren't good. Forget about your friends. Forget about your family. Do what's best for you. And he's clearly sticking to it here, because as soon as he gets the chance to 86 Brutus, he does. And it sucks too, because like I had such high hopes for this character Brutus, and I feel like we didn't get to see him like at all in this show. I feel like he was very, like, they did so much work with the cosplay, but I guess, or not cosplay, the costume. But I guess, it's in Lucasfilm tradition to make a really awesome looking, character, or design an awesome character, not give them a crazy amount of screen time, and then kill off the character. We have Darth Maul, we have Boba Fett, we have Jango Fett. I would even argue, I'm not really a huge sequel fan, but I would even argue Captain Phasma. Her armor was super sick with all the chrome, and we didn't get anything with her. So it is on par for Star Wars making badass characters, and we're just not getting anything. But like I said a little bit earlier, we're not getting a lot. I wish the show gave us a little bit more of like the scum and villainy, the pirate parts, because like we got Brutus, who just got killed. We have Vane, who was a part of the Mandalorian, a part of I called him Old Greg. I don't remember that pirate from season 3. He was like a lagoon pirate or something like that he went down with his ship, and then Vane escaped. But yeah, we have Vane, or yeah, Brutus. Like, dude, just look how cool he is, man. Freaking, and like also all the prosthetics. You got the Quarren. We got a Trandoshan in the back. Like, dude, we got so many different creatures. It's so cool. But yeah, like all these characters, like the prosthetics and their acting ability are so great, and I just feel like they're kind of getting sidelined, which I would have liked to see a little bit more. And even I believe his name is Gunter in the show. Really cool design. Love that he's kind of the same as KB, where he's got the the device, and he's got one eye now. He's got like a retro eye patch and stuff like that. Like, I want to see and know more about these pirates and like what goes on in there. Maybe not day to day. Like, I don't need a documented list of like what they do day to day. Or I was gonna say comb your hair, but he doesn't have any hair, and neither does Vane. Again, maybe Brutus, how he combs his hair. But I would have liked a little bit more and see like what they're doing. Or even like we saw at the beginning of the show, where they're like boarding a ship and like plundering it and stuff like that. Like, I would have loved to see, and maybe we will if we get. I don't think this show will get a season 2, nor do I think it really needs one. It's a cool kind of like one-off, but I would love a show just centered around pirates, like maybe centered around Hondo or anything. Which also, I'm surprised he didn't show up in this show. We don't know where in the heck Hondo is in this whole universe, and he's kind of like the main pirate bad dude of like the universe, So, yeah, I don't know. It was just a little sad, especially too, because like I said, Brutus was my favorite character out of this whole show so far. I really liked his his glowing eyes, and he had like the black beard. He had like the straps of guns and stuff like that. And maybe after Japan, I'll tackle him. It's just hard to, because I want to cosplay him, but it's just hard because like I have Boba Fett queued, which I have Boba Fett mostly made. I'm gonna resin print some of his parts that I already have printed, but Boba Fett was mostly made. I just paused him because I wasn't gonna bring him to Japan. Then I'd like to do Master Chief. That's not Star Wars really. It's more like Halo. But yeah, maybe Brutus will be that third kind of bigger cosplay with the prosthetics and the beard and all that stuff. So I'd like to eventually do him. Hopefully we get to see him in something else, like pop up, but not getting my hopes up with that one. And then I really like Shmi, man. Like, I love how he follows the pirate code, but at the same time, he has to, kind of honor the code, but he wants to go with the kids. He wants to, like, I think he really took a liking to the kids, and I love that he's like, finally, or he's like, that's close enough, and he just, like, decks Jode and just knocks him out cold, and along with all the other pirates that are on the ship. So, I don't know, I just like his sense of, like, he wants to be like he likes because like the Fern was the first captain. I feel like he likes the kids better than like Jode and his band of pirates. You said 3D printing revolver $20, and I don't have any money because I just bought my dream set. Oh, bummer, man, bummer. But hey, you can always save up more money. That's the golden thing about it is you don't have to just buy it right away. Just plan the cosplay and plan how much money it's going to take, and then start saving. That's all you got to do. That's all you got to do. And I thought this, again, not really a whole bunch to say on this one, just that it was cool. I really like that it's almost like a, not Treasure Planet, because Treasure Planet is like hidden behind a door, but even like the Ile de Marta, or in Pirates of the Caribbean 1, or Davy Jones' Locker, it's like it can only be found by those people who know how to find it. Or like in Pirates of the Caribbean 3, like the only reason how they find Davy Jones' Locker is that they get lost and then they fall off kind of like the edge of the world. Like it's like there's almost like a trial to get to it, and this has very similar vibes to that. Being a Pirates of the Caribbean fan, I'm really loving how they're taking adaptations from like Peter Pan or Pirates of the Caribbean or Treasure Planet, a lot of these old kind of pirate movies. I'm really enjoying that aspect of it. And then this is kind of going to be my last kind of thoughts on it. And hey, we're at 26 minutes. This is longer than I thought the episode was going to go, because this is I feel like this is longer than both of the episodes combined. We get Jode and he slices Shmi with the lightsaber, and this is my theory. I said it back a little while ago that I think Shmi was trained by a specific Jedi. I said Quinlan Vos. Now I'm not sure whether it's going to be Quinlan Vos or not Quinlan Vos, because this is a pretty accurate... He lights up the saber and he slices it pretty quickly, and like a fluid motion gets him in the head. And hey, man, I appreciate you subscribing. Thank you for that. And yeah, and we're gonna to go back on that. Sorry, I had one train of thought, and then I saw your message and had another train of thought. Yeah, I'm glad that you I could help you and all that stuff. And stay tuned, because I'm gonna be making a lot more stuff on the channel. I actually started another channel for my 3D printing side of things, which is PMP Creations. Which shows you how to make a lot of stuff, but I also want to do that on this channel with Star Wars stuff specifically. So definitely stay tuned, because I think you'll get a lot if you go down the path of 3D printing or wanting to 3D print this Jango Fett cosplay that you were talking about. You'll see kind of how like I 3D print stuff and how I make stuff from start to finish, and it might give you a little bit better of an understanding of how to complete a cosplay. But no, going back to Skeleton Crew, yeah, I really think he was trained by some sort of Jedi, because the way that he's using the lightsaber, like there's almost like an elegance to it. And I know it was just one fluid motion, but like if you're not trained with a lightsaber, it's like when he did it, when he lit up the lightsaber in the last episode, or episode 5, and he ignited it upside down. There's a lot of that sort of stuff that you just don't know about if you're not a Jedi or weren't trained in the Jedi arts. And when I was looking at the character, because I was seeing who played each character, there is a character listed named Haley Webb, and if you look at what her name says, it says Nina Nawood. And what is Jode's name? Jode Nawood. And it says that she's a Jedi. That's obviously not a name, right? Like that's not so she must have been like, maybe this was Jode's mom or a family member of Jode's that trained him in the arts, which that brings up a whole nother slew of questions of like, you know, Jedi aren't supposed to have attachments. They're not supposed to be, they can get kind of freaky, I guess, if they don't get attachments, because you have people like Ki-Adi-Mundi who like had to get freaky in order to like save his whole race, because his race was going extinct. So he had like 6 wives in a comic or something like that to basically help preserve his species as a whole. You have those instances, and then you also have like Rael Averross and I imagine Quinlan Voss, you know, who are a little bit loosey-goosey with the Jedi, Anakin too, I guess. Backfired on him pretty hard, but you have those characters who don't really follow that Jedi code to a T either. So lots of interesting things, but I'm wondering if we're gonna get either an Order 66 flashback or something, because she's listed. Now, this could totally be a typo, and these casting things have weird listings all the time. This could not be a legit thing. Somebody could have just edited that in or added that in, but I wonder what we'll see, because I believe we only have one episode left. I believe there's 8 episodes total, and that this week's was episode 7. I could be wrong on that, but that's what I remember seeing for the most part. So it'll be interesting to see how they wrap this show up within an episode, and how they would, I guess, tie in Jode's like past to what's going on currently in the future. But we'll see, because like I think this show has had a little bit of like weirdly pacing. Like these last 2 episodes haven't been. There's cool stuff in them, but haven't definitely, like I would say, on the lacking side of. I've really enjoyed this show, but the last couple episodes have been kind of, you know, like they're okay. They're just kind of mid. So it'll be interesting to see how they pull everything together in this final thing. You know, he gets to be in the credits room with the Old Republic credit mint, and I'm interested to see where they go with this, because we don't know like what the Overseer is. Like they've been teasing kind of like the Overseer. Nobody's seen it. We don't know if like the Overseer is the pirate that I forget what pirate they said was like the one who found At-Aten and kind of established this stuff, but maybe he kind of did like a Grief Karga thing where he turned the planet into like a thriving civilization instead of the Bounty Hunters Guild. It could be something very similar to where like that king pirate, who's like a legendary pirate, found this mint and decided to start kind of more of like a civilization around it and just like mass produce these things. So it'll be interesting to see what we get for episode 8. I don't know what's in store. I don't know how they're going to close it off. I think we got to know a little bit about Jode being he's definitely using more force ability. He uses the force ability to like break his cuffs. He grabs the lightsaber. He uses the lightsaber. There's definitely stuff that he's grabbed with the force, and he just like as the show progresses, he uses it more and more. So I think we kind of have to address that. We have to address what's going on with At-Aten and how he's going to get off the planet with all of this stuff, or bring his crew down, and then what happens with like the Overseer and all the kids, because the kids and the parents meet up at the end, and then that kind of is the end of the episode. But yeah, thank you guys so much for hanging out with me and jamming. We at 30 minutes, definitely getting more into doing some more lives. It's weird because like I kind of want to pull away from lives a little bit, and I kind of want to do other stuff. Still doing like DIN transmission, but I definitely want to do more game design stuff, but really focusing a lot, maybe pulling back a little bit on the lives and doing more edited content for you guys. I have quite a bit of videos I have planned down. It's just finding the time to get them done. And with me opening up this kind of second channel and that kind of being more of my main focus. Also, if you guys want to subscribe to it, PMP Creations, it's the same thing as my website and all that stuff. It's just PMP and then Creations with a Z. Definitely go check that out, because I make a lot of stuff not Star Wars related, because I want to save every Star Wars piece of content that I can for this channel. But if you're into video games or anime or anything basically nerdy, cosplay, all that stuff, might be worth your interest to go check that out. I just started it up. We're almost at 200 subs already, so we're moving and grooving. But the reason why I'm bringing this up is maybe pulling back on the lives a little bit and maybe just doing some more video game live streams. We'll see, because I do really like the DIN Transmissions episodes each week, and it's fun sitting and chatting with you guys and just kind of nerding out about Star Wars each week. So I'm still kind of thinking about how I want to spend my time and organizing everything, but the content won't go away. That's all I know. With me opening up this second channel, focusing more on that, but if I focus more on that, basically I'll maybe stop doing a little bit more of the live streams and focusing more on edited content for you guys and going forward. But who knows? But thank you guys for watching. I appreciate you guys being here and hanging out with me on this journey. I wanted to get to 1,000 subs by the end of this year, and I think we got to like 830, 829, and just still freaking awesome. And it's crazy. It blows my mind that 829 of you guys want to sit here and watch me blab about Star Wars, you know. And I really love this community that I've formed with the Den and a lot of the friends that I've made and going forward. And I can't imagine what we're gonna do going forward. It's just gonna be more and more. I know we got Andor coming up, we got Visions, and I'm sure Star Wars Celebration, which I'm going to in Japan. Just a lot of really cool things going forward, and I'm excited to share that with you guys and hang out with you guys. But do I have a Discord I could keep in touch with? So I don't have a Discord yet. I kind of wanted to do it as a members thing. Not because necessarily I want money from you guys, because the Discord, it would be very, very cheap for the members thing. It'd probably be, you know, $1 to $2 or whatever. But the reason why I want to charge for it is just because I don't want a whole bunch of trolls in the Discord, and especially with Star Wars, you get a lot of Star Wars trolls. But yeah, if you want to keep up with me, the best ways I know to keep up with me is Instagram. I use Instagram and YouTube. Those are like my two main things. I post regularly on both of them. I do have X and Blue Sky, and I guess TikTok's going away now. TikTok's going to be disbanded at the end of the month, but I have all those other social medias, but the ones that I stay consistently on is YouTube and Instagram, and that's the best way to get a hold of me. But we might do something with the Discord. I don't know. I'm trying to think about the best way to do the Discord so it's just not filled with people who are trolls, because I know there's a lot of people like you and others who come in and like want help and like want to share their progress with cosplay or their knowledge on Star Wars or something like that. So we'll figure something out with that. I just haven't quite yet. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. I hope you have a great rest of your week. And as always,